Hey Gemini, I want to go ahead and get into your reading for June 2019. I've already shuffled your deck. I'm going to shuffle a little bit more and then we will get into it. Okay. Show me energies present for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, June 2019. June 2019 for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Gemini, or cross watchers for Gemini, whomever. Gemini. I'm going to do a Celtic cross Gemini. You. Okay. So you have Pisces here, the Hangman. The Hangman talks about energy where we are in a state of contemplation, in a state of suspended action. We're not moving, we're not doing anything. There's just kind of the only flow that's happening is on the internal aspect, okay? And I know I look like I've gotten beat up. I did not. This is cupping. I do cupping, and sometimes I do cupping on myself. It's helpful for a lot of things. But anyhow, yeah, a state of contemplation, reevaluation, recognizing what works for us, what doesn't work for us, what makes us happy, what causes harmony in our lives, where are we out of balance, you know? Where do we need to stop and pause and really evaluate a situation for what it is in its entirety? So that seems to be the situation at hand. The obstacle here, Lerv, or emotional balance, self-love, nurturing. It could be a situation where we're evaluating the opportunity to venture into a situation with somebody, you know, that's a potential too. Let's keep pulling your cards, okay? At the root of the reading, you have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Excellent. That is essentially coming from a place of, you know, not perpetuating cycles anymore. I know a lot of people will see the Wheel of Fortune in reverse and say, oh my God, bad luck. I don't feel that at all. I feel that this is getting out of our own way so we can have that luck come to us. It's talking about upright. This card talks about maintaining cycles. It talks about deep cycles that we need to recognize within ourselves, that we need to break those habits of, that thinking, that way of being, the stuff that just keeps us stuck. Here, it's breaking it, whether that be with another person or with ourselves, you know. The Ace of Cups also can talk about, if you're not dealing with the person or a love relationship, this can talk about a fair amount of healing for yourself. This also may be a necessity to heal, a recognition of where we need to split away from something that has kept us tethered to inactivity or laziness or frustration or drinking or drugging or stuffing our faces or, you know, just stagnancy in whatever fashion it comes into your life and that you maintain and nurture. We can nurture bad things too. It's that devil energy for sure. That doesn't mean you're the worst person ever, but like we have our things, we have our vices, we have our problems, you know, everybody has them. What's yours? Where do you need to work on it? The Ace of Cups can talk about recognizing that and getting ourselves a fair deal of love. Now, it's interesting though that the Ace of Cups comes in the position of obstacle. So are we having a difficult time accessing ourselves, our deeper feelings, our emotions, getting through things and moving forward? Or are we dealing with the potential of somebody else, the potential for love, the potential for dating, romance? Recent past, you have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So the Queen of Swords in reverse is interesting. She is an air sign, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, your sign. But Gemini, she's also somebody who is emotionally, sometimes emotionally irrational. She is mentally frustrated. This can talk about being out of sorts with yourself. I feel like I just mentioned alcohol and drinking and all of that's overeating and kind of out of balance behavior that we can do with ourselves. This talks about being in that type of energy. It talks about somebody who's not connected to their emotions, somebody who is upset in life, has a difficult time communicating, is very brash and harsh and difficult to deal with, very, very difficult person to deal with, whether that's you or somebody that you were dealing with. It could be just a very sad case of emotional frustration, okay? Or having a very difficult time connecting to your emotions. And maybe that's why this is the obstacle. When we try and heal our heart, when we try and heal our psyche and our the way that we live in our lives, like, we have to access our feelings. If that is the obstacle, and we've come from a place like this where we're discombobulated, out of balance, upset in our lives, upset at ourselves, upset with everybody that we come across, everybody, they're all at fault. Like, it's very difficult to deal with somebody when they're coming from that type of energy. And it's very difficult to live in that energy where everybody's at fault, because you're constantly nitpicking with everybody. There's no ease, there's no happiness, there's no joy. Okay, don't stay in that energy, Gemini, if that's you. The present energy here, we have the Three of Wands in reverse. So this is interesting energy, because the Three of Wands in reverse can often talk about, like, dropping your dreams or letting something go that you really wanted. It can talk about achieving it sometimes, but it can also talk about letting it go. It can talk about not trusting it, not trusting the path of the process. And it's like, it's just too far away. Fuck it. Fuck everything. Like, it's that type of, like, harsh, angry, upset energy with this Queen of Swords in reverse, And I think we're really, if that is the case, and this is more of a self-awareness type reading, this is talking about healing our heart. It's about talking about being connected with our emotions, especially with the Hangman at the main area. Near future, you have the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands is a lot of things. He's a student. He's somebody that gets involved in things that are new, refreshing. He's excited about them. He is moving towards something that he doesn't really have all of the understanding, but he's still going. There's still progression. It's interesting, though, in this card, because of the look on his face and, like, how he's got his head down. Like, I don't know. It just feels like, first of all, he's walking away from somebody. He's walking away from a woman. That could be the Queen of Swords in reverse. This person doesn't look too excited about the direction that they're going, though. It's almost as if, like, we don't have a skip in our step. There's no butterflies. It's not jolly here. It's like we're turning our back and moving away. You could be doing that with another person and not knowing the direction that you're going, but just going, which is good. Or it's something where we are dealing with a situation where we know we have to go, and it's hard to let go of these things, because the world in the next phase talks about engaging in situations that you may not, or somebody may not yet be equipped for, and because they've dealt with a whole different mental aspect of how they've dealt with their lives. Now it's talking about just going upon that path, even though you may not know the direction that you're going. It's changing it. It's slowly changing it. It's adding that movement into your life so that you can create something different, and it can be scary. Okay. Your energy, where you're at, you have Justice. So you could be dealing with a Libra. Justice talks about trusting yourself. It's honesty. It's genuine honesty. It is being fair. It's fairness to the utmost degree, whether that's with yourself or with another person. It can also talk about cutting people out entirely because you recognize that it's not helpful or healthful to be with them, and they bring you down. Sometimes, or when we're with people that are emotionally out of balance, we may love them very much, but it's like, being that they are constantly emotionally out of balance, often that leads to a level of dissatisfaction in their lives. Sometimes those people can be very depressed, very dysfunctional in the way that they see their view of the world. They don't want to be happy. Fuck happiness. Happiness only happens to, like, I don't know, what the fuck, Disney characters, or like, fluffy little Barbie people. Like, I don't know. But they have this view, like, everybody else can have happiness except me, so I don't get it, and fuck you too. That type of energy. Like, it's weird. That's what I'm picking up right now. Whatever that was. But yeah, that needs to be cut out. If you're dealing with that, that needs to be cut out. And this also may be you walking away from somebody that's been like that. It's like, ugh, I have loved you. I do love you. I did love you. You're fucking exhausting. Or somebody could be walking away from you feeling that. Could go either way. This is a general reading. So what's coming toward you, Gemini? The Knight of Swords in reverse. Not a good combination to have the Queen of Swords here with the Knight of Swords here. Not a good combination at all. This is the next card. These cards are next to each other in rank, okay? So this is essentially fighting, lying, miscommunication, intentional, like intentionally trying to hurt somebody with your words, being very cutting and brutal with the way that you are approach somebody, not having all of the information yet feeling entitled to stab at you and, like, you know, verbal barbs. Like, that's this fighting material right here. This is emotional disruption, fighting, conflict, abrasive energy. Oof, that doesn't feel good coming toward you, but let's move on. So with the hopes, fears, worries, concerns, we have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is interesting here. A lot of people are going to say, oh, unity and commitment. You know, the Hierophant is not just about marriage and commitment. And I really want to caution people to see it maybe in some different ways, okay? You know, it's not just about butterflies and bunnies. Like, the Hierophant talks about establishment. It talks about the way that we're raised. It talks about the things that are ingrained within us, the social norms of society that say you can only marry a white person, or, you know, we fall into these things where men are always right and these old white men are always right. So, you know, women can't, you know, have the right to their own fucking bodies. Yeah, lots of stuff like that. You know, it's the indoctrinated bullshit that's given to us that cycles over and over again, and sometimes we need to step away from it to change it. It can also talk about counseling. It can talk about going to a counselor, going to a priest, going to a advisor. You know, there's a lot of different things. If this is a situation where, you know, you feel that counseling would be a good situation for you on your own, or somebody that you're dealing with, that might be a potential here. I don't feel that it's unity. I don't feel that it's put a ring on it. I don't know how to bring my ring finger up like that. I just know how to put my middle finger up because it's my favorite finger. But yeah, Gemini, I don't feel that this is unity or marriage. I feel that this is more like counseling and looking at the ways that we have been indoctrinated and raised, and how we believe in love, how we believe in ourselves, where we have to change the cycle. Okay. Outcome card, you have the King of Cups. So King of Cups is Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, primarily Scorpio energy. The King of Cups is somebody who, he can nurture, he is emotional, but he doesn't show it often. The King of Cups is also somebody in this particular card who's pouring out his cup. So the cup often talks about emotion. It is the Ace of Cups. Okay? The cup often talks about emotion, emotional healing. Again, I'm confronted. Okay, that's the word, confronted with the feeling of, well, fuck it. Fuck it. If it doesn't work, fuck it. Like, it's somebody who's like almost nihilistic and they don't want to change, or they're having a very difficult time seeing change. The King of Cups here, I do want to mention, he's also somebody who can be emotionally devoid, sometimes manipulative. He can, you know, look harshly upon others and their emotional state. If you are in a particularly difficult emotional state at this point, it's almost as if somebody here feels like they're giving up versus having compassion. He can represent a fair amount of compassion too, and so does the Queen of Cups. But it feels like this is an energy where we're like, it's like pouring out the cup. It's not, it's like trying, but then not trying. It's like giving up on a situation, giving up on your feelings, giving up on the hope that things can change. Yet we have the crux of this reading as the obstacle, this potential movement, you know. I don't know if this is a relationship situation where you're going to be involved with somebody and it's like roses and puppies. I really don't think that. I think that this is more of a situation where it's like we're frustrated, we're having a difficult time having, you know, healthy communication. We're mad at ourselves, we're mad at a person, you know, it's not good. So let's go ahead and clarify this reading, and we will go from there, okay? All right, Gemini. Clarify for Gemini, please. Clarify for Gemini. And I'm just going to clarify with cards that come out in the same way as the Celtic cross. So I'm not going to do a lot of this. I'm going to just shuffle until I feel it's right, and then I'm going to pull the cards out in the same fashion that each one came out, just as we did, okay? Show me for Gemini, please. 3, 7. All right, Gemini. So for the Hangman, you have Judgment in reverse. So again, remember in the beginning when I said that this is a fair, it's important to use your judgment, what works for you, what's put in your life for reasons, like how are you experiencing your life. Please be aware of where you may be out of balance with yourself or a situation with somebody. Please be aware where the judgment may not be being used to its utmost. Now, in a situation regarding a person, this talks about not reconciling with them. It talks about it would be against your best judgment to further a path with somebody. Now, for the obstacle, the Ace of Cups, we have the Two of Wands in reverse. So again, interesting. This Two of Wands in reverse and the Three of Wands in reverse in your reading, okay? The Two of Wands in reverse feels like somebody's directionless, or it could be that they've chosen a path. I feel here, it's both. I feel here that there's an energy here where we feel directionless, but this is the path. This is the path to help you out. This is the path to heal the heart, heal your emotions. If you need counseling, seek it. Nothing wrong with counseling. Nothing sexier than a healthy-minded, healthy-feeling person, okay? Yeah, I feel that that is the option there. It's like somebody who's either feeling like they've given up. Please don't give up hope on yourself, most definitely. I would say with this person that you're dealing with, it doesn't feel like there's potential for anything there. But for the self, we have to pay attention. Show me, well, next card out. Oof, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, we have the King of Swords in reverse. Now we have a couple here. Now we have a couple who is... Okay, I just got an image too. So it like fast forwards. How do I say that? How do I say that? So somebody also, this is for a few few of you. So basically what I'm feeling and seeing is that some of you may be in a situation, or you may have been in a situation where you were with a partner that was not doing right. You were with somebody else as either a sexual partner or something where it was like a level of comfort, but that person wasn't something that was going to maintain a relationship with you. They didn't want a full relationship, and you were hoping for more. You were hoping for a commitment, but it doesn't feel like you're emotionally satisfied in yourself or stable right now. And it feels like that might be one of the key frustrations in why you're so upset, or why somebody's so upset with themselves. Okay, I hope that that makes sense for somebody. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse, either way, with the King of Swords, this is talking about cutting out energies with people who are emotionally distraught, frustrated, who have just terrible communication skills, who are very brash, cold, calculated in how they're cold with us, frustrated energy, an unfair person. But here we have two people that are like this. You know, we have two people that are constantly fighting and at odds. And if you're not in a situation where you were with somebody as like a sexual encounter or like, you know, hoping for the best with them, somebody may be hoping for the best with this situation, but it might be the male aspect that pours out the cup. It might be the male that doesn't want to. Okay, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to move on. Show me the Queen of Swords. We have the High Priestess in reverse. So the High Priestess in reverse can talk about secrets opening up. It can also talk about where we are so emotionally and mentally out of balance within a situation that we don't heed our intuition. We don't pay attention to our internal warnings. You know, everything's out on the table. Everything's a screaming match. Everything is, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. The Three of Wands, you have the Two of Wands. So here we have a card of balance. This energy where if you're feeling this, I know that this reading isn't going to be for everybody, but if you're feeling that this Three of Wands is kind of like letting go of your dreams, kind of dissolving your hopes, just fuck it. Why should I even bother? Nothing ever happens correctly. Nobody loves me. It's never going to work out. Fuck you. Like it's like that internal, like, fuck you. It's like deep. It's very deep. It feels very angry. Very angry, like you're about to like a pressure cooker or something. This is talking about finding balance. It's talking about finding balance, direction, redirection, okay? But it's upright. It's balancing out. You have to balance things out, most definitely here. The Page of Wands, you have the Three of Cups in reverse. So you could be walking away from a situation where there may have been a third party. You know, you've got the Three of Wands in reverse here too. This can also indicate third-party situations. Third-party situations here. This is essentially giving up on something where there was a third-party situation. Walking away from a situation that was third-party. It could be with a partner that you may have been married to. This may be a situation where you're worried about salvaging the marriage, and it almost feels like the masculine energy here doesn't want to, or it's almost as if like they don't, it just doesn't feel like they want to. Somebody here doesn't want to. Justice card, you have the Emperor in reverse. Ouch. Two major arcana here, very, very big energies, but the Emperor, the Justice card in upright with the Emperor in reverse, this is getting away from somebody who is incredibly manipulative, not even kind of, a total asshole, somebody my way or the highway type of energy, somebody who is emotionally devoid and rampant in how they achieve what they want, you know, and oftentimes it plays into their lower ego. So you have somebody who is very manipulative, demanding, somebody who can be cruel, frustrated all of the time, somebody who is emotionally out of balance. This is like the worst combination here, okay? Really, really uncomfortable energy, very difficult to deal with. But the fact that she's out of balance too leads me to feel like this is just a constant tug of war between the two of you, leading up to confusion and fighting and frustration, okay? So, Knight of Swords, you have the Seven of Cups. So somebody here, I feel here like we don't want to deal anymore with this type of fighting. We recognize that we have options. You also could be fighting about somebody having options, especially if they had a third-party situation or more than that. But it's almost as if like somebody's coming at it with not enough information, you know, not enough info. It's like they have bits and pieces, but like they're so pissed off that it doesn't even matter. It's like explosion time. It's you know, it's funny. It's funny. Okay. For some reason, out of the blue today, like out of the blue, I kept, hang on. I kept looking up Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius, Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius. I don't know why. I was at work, not doing anything related to Pompeii or Mount Vesuvius, but Mount Vesuvius it exploded. It was hot, raging magma everywhere. That's what I feel in this. That's the energy that I feel here. Vesuvius. And somebody's about to blow, and I think that it's important to recognize, as much as this person that you've been dealing with possibly had potentials and other options, really evaluate your own options, because being in that type of Vesuvius energy, Pompeian energy, where you're about to explode and kill off a colony of people, a whole civilization, like, be careful, or at least a portion of civilization, be careful. That's really powerful energy, and I feel like somebody here is just about to pop. So the Hierophant, you have the 10 of Wands. So this card is interesting here, okay? This card is interesting because it talks about letting go of your burden. It talks about letting go of your frustrations in a situation. You also have this castle in the background. This may be walking away from a home situation, walking away from a connection that had marriage involved or whatever. You do have the King, Queen of Swords here. But I do want to mention the 10 of Wands. Often in typical cards, you see like the person carrying all 10 wands. Here, he's dropped every wand and he's just got his one wand. So it's essentially releasing yourself, relieving yourself of burden, frustration, ongoing mental anguish, communication problems, and using that Ace of Wands, that new drive, that new power, that new direction. Even if it's difficult to find, it's talking about moving towards a new direction. Here we also have the Ace of Wands in this card as well. He's got his staff. He doesn't look too pleased about the direction that he's going in, but he's going either way. I feel that this is like a tug of war between somebody's self and somebody's situation, and the decision to recognize where somebody's had enough, and being in a situation is almost as if like there's going to be an eruption. So the King of Swords, the King of Cups here. Now you have the 7 of Pentacles popping out in reverse. 7 of Pentacles is evaluating a situation and being done. Now, I feel too here, if the female is super pissed off and she wants things her way or to have gone a specific way, and the king or the male is, it's like they don't, it's like both people don't want to be in the relationship, but the way that it's done just ticks her off even more. The way that he's like, no, just ticks her off even more. And it feels like this is him evaluating it and being like, no, I pour my cup out. I don't want any more with this. And in a certain way, it's almost as if she wants the same thing, but like, it's almost like I want to one-up you. Like, you did it first, or like how, like I was supposed to tell you how I feel, and fuck you. And it's hard energy, you guys. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Ace of Truth, the Ace of Swords. So please be careful about how you blind yourself in a situation. If you're blinded by anger and you're just reactionary, please be aware of that. Be honest with yourself, be honest with your partner as much as you can, and let it go. I'm going to pull a Demon card and a Nocturna card, and we will be done. Show me for Gemini, please. Gemini. Pruflas. Pruflas. Beware of individuals who spread gossip and discord for the sake of drama and divisiveness. Distance yourself from those individuals and do not be dragged in. Everything we talked about in this reading. everything we talked about in this reading. Please do not entertain these types of people. Please do not entertain this type of energy in yourself or with others. Let's go for Nocturna card, okay? Nocturna, show me for Gemini, please. Gemini for Nocturna. Gemini, Gemini. Gemini. Scallop. All right, so let's go ahead and read Scallop. Scallop, goddess, travel, femininity, vessel. The scallop has many associations across multiple religions. It is affiliated with the Roman goddess Venus and the Hindu goddess Lakshmi, making it a symbol of femininity and as a vessel. In Christianity, it is associated with the apostle Saint James and was a popular icon among pilgrims journeying to his shrine in the Spanish city of Santiago de Compostela. This gives the scallop its association with travel. An interesting thing to note is the ridges along the shell, which converge together to one focal point at the base. To Christians, this is symbolic of the many pilgrims journeying to a holy site, while in Celtic society it resembles the sun's rays during sunset. I don't know how that resonates with you. I don't know. The bottom of the deck is Moth, and I am going to read that as well. And Shark underneath Moth. I'm going to read these 3 cards, and then we're going to call it good. And if you garner anything from it, then so be it. Moth, 6. Okay, Moth. Distraction, being led astray, burnout. Moths are nocturnal insects that follow the light of the moon. However, with the abundance of artificial lighting from human civilizations, moths are often led astray. Conversely, in our consumerist society, we are led to believe that things like earthly possessions and money will provide emotional fulfillment. However, like a moth drawn to the lamp, this is not always the case. You may need to adjust your course and not let distractions get in the way. Examine whether the things that you are pursuing will actually bring fulfillment and positivity into your life. So be careful about pursuing a situation that I feel that somebody's already wanting to let it go, though. For those of you that have been dealing with a situation, have also pursued somebody else in the midst of it, it almost feels like that situation's a no-go as well. That person doesn't want the same thing. And if you were to engage in a situation at this point, it wouldn't be advised, just because it feels like somebody has to do a fair amount of healing here from dealing with whatever they've dealt with. So subjecting somebody else to a clusterfuck of emotions, when you're not really healthy mentally and emotionally, that's difficult energy to deal with, and that's not a good space to be engaging in a new relationship from. And if you want to thumbs down this video, that's fine. The Shark. So Shark was under Moth, and then we will be done, you guys. Shark. I don't think I've ever read Shark, actually. Shark. Fearlessness, confidence, drive, authority. As a scuba diver, I've seen many sharks in my lifetime, and every time one appears, it has a very commanding presence. To pull this card may mean that there is an opportunity that you need to take hold of. Always swimming, always moving forward. The shark reminds us to be active in life, not passive. Be fearless in getting what you want in life, and don't second guess yourself. Remember, however, to not bite off more than you can chew. This healing of the self, this taking time for yourself, this may feel very daunting. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. Please don't give up on yourself. Please don't give up on new directions and balance, okay? All right, Gemini, I'm going to leave it here. This reading was very interesting, and please don't explode like Mount Vesuvius. So I appreciate you watching, and, thank you for those that have donated to my channel. I appreciate it. greatly. If you found this reading helpful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you do choose to donate, there's a link in the description box below. And I will be back in the second week of June for that reading. So, yeah, I hope everything's well. Take care, Gemini. Bye.